to the Italian Football Podcast.
Hello everybody and welcome back to another Mercato deep dive interview here on the Italian Football Podcast. My name's Nima Tavale Ruzzari, and after having done Lazio, after having done Napoli, after having done Milan, Juve, and last week we did Atalanta, we're delighted now to focus a bit on Roma, and we're joined once again by our good friend, he writes for Il Romanista, and he's a contributor to Radio Romanista, and he's my second favorite Roma fan in the world after Marco Violi. Welcome, Andrea Di Carlo. How are you doing?
Hi, Nima. It's nice to have you again after 1 year. Thanks for your words, and yeah, I'm fine. It's nice to talk another time about this Roma.
Well, there's so much going on at Roma this summer. I wanted to start a little bit with Roma's finances, because there's been some confusion. For many years, Roma haven't been able to spend much because of financial fair play in UEFA, and of course they're also in the settlement agreement like Inter and Juve are. So how is it that this summer Roma can finally spend money?
It's probably much easier than he looks, because as Roma for many years follows a particular agreement with UEFA, settlement agreement, and he didn't spend so much on the transfer market session. And so the focus was to take players free or on loan, spending a lot of money only for the salaries, and then you can probably make a good team, a good 11. But you are not building something good for the future. You works only with the present, only with the instant team. You take a good player like Lukaku, like Matic, like Wijnaldum, names like Renato Sanchez. You work on the present. But as Roma stopped to work for his future. Now, after the formal okay from UEFA, AS Roma is back in a condition to spend on the players, and so what AS Roma told at the start of the summer to the press, this summer we want to create value. What does it mean? Value, technical value, players young and strong. Financial value, play that you buy today 20 millions, that probably from 2 years you can buy 40, 45, maybe 50. You create a value, and this is I think the main guide AS Roma is following, because Boubakary Soumare is enormous talented, very young Spanish, and AS Roma arrived first in this race, and Ryan is a good goalkeeper with experience. Lefebvre is another talent midfielder of Ligan. There are many profiles, many characteristics that AS Roma needs, and then this transfer market session of AS Roma change when Ghisolfi, Linus Luku, when the property of Fritin decide to invest. Matthias Soulé and Artem Dovbyk, two great players, very young, perfectly fit with Daniele De Rossi's idea, and so there's a part of this kind of situation, as I told you, is more flexible possibility and capacity to spend. in the another aspect in the same view is as Roma as the chance in the summer to leave so many players with important and enormous salary. So when you say hello to Rui Patricio, Rasmus Christensen, Diego Llorente, Leonardo Spinazzola, Renato Sanchez, Romelu Lukaku, Eldor Sardar Azmoun, sorry, and you leave so many millions of euros that you can invest on Transfermarkt. And in the last, the most common error or mistake that someone can do talking about the Transfermarkt session of AS Roma is to tell someone, AS Roma is spending 100 million. Wait, you have to check what the amount of the operation as Roma has to goes to register on his balance. Because
the net spend, essentially.
Yeah,
how much you sell, how much you buy. Yeah, of course.
No, but not only, because if you buy Mathias Soulé from Juventus about 30 million, but you have the chance to pay 10 million for season, this year you spend 10 millions for Soulé, no 30. And so 10 for Soulé, 10 for von Dovbyk, probably 9 or 8 for Lefebvre is not 100 million.
No,
it's more or less.
It's amortization on the balance sheet. Yeah,
exactly.
No, that makes perfect sense.
The secret, I don't know, maybe it's too much, but this is the reason of the coming back to spend a lot on the Transfermarkt about AS Roma.
Absolutely. Well, we're going to talk a little bit about more the technical project. I just wanted to ask you a little bit about this Nuovo Stadio Roma. They just unveiled it, and they want to get it done so that it's finished for the 100th anniversary of Roma. I mean, what do you? I mean, this is. Yeah, I would love if all the Italian clubs could have new stadiums, but I've given up hope because of bureaucracy. You are from Rome. You cover Roma every day. How positive are you about this stadium actually getting built?
I'm very positive because for the first time, we saw in the last 20 years 3 video projects of the stadium of Roma. The first was with the property of Rosella Sensi. The second one was with James Pallotta. And now the third video project with Friedkin family. And so I want to say that it's time not only to see the project, it's time to build the project and the stadium. I can tell you that for the first time I'm very positive, because in the other situation, the politics environment, he was not so convinced now to build the stadium. Obviously, it is important that, as you say, that the Italian bureaucracy was on the line, in the same line of the AS Roma's view. Not happened this in the last chance, when AS Roma and owner James Pallotta wanted to build the stadium, but as Roma government, the local government was quite an opposite view. And this time, with the Major Gualtieri, with the local government, they're so much will and want to give to the city a new stadium. And so I think that this is the key for the success. If the local government remain so positive and so open to follow all the stuff and all the all the continuing process to came until a final goal, the construction of the stadium. I think that is the right time. Is the final time that we can finally see AS Roma is playing in his new home. I don't think it will be ready for the 2027 for the century of the club, but I mean, it's not a technical problem of the time. The important is the project will be done, and so we can wait another year, but we hope everyone in Rome hopes that 27 28 will be the season in time to see AS Roma playing in the new stadium.
And this time there won't be a Raggi to say no, as the famous song goes.
Exactly. There's no Raggi around here, and so probably it's the right time to make a stadium.
La Raggi già detto no. But this time she's not around. Let's move on to the mercato a bit more then, to talk a little bit about, I mean, as you mentioned, Soumare, Dovbyk, Lefebvre. Obviously, from the outside, it looks like these are De Rossi players. These are players that De Rossi has identified as wanting them to come. How important has he been in actually convincing these players to join?
Oh, very important, very important. This is an interesting view because when Jose Mourinho came in Rome, there was a technical problem, no? Because as Roma probably in that time it didn't have so much appeal, no, for the other players because it wasn't Champions League in the program of the season, and as Roma for many years didn't play European Cups. And so when Jose Mourinho arrived, he spent in his first line, his name to convince a lot of players to join AS Roma. We talk about Tammy Abraham, Paulo Dybala, Nemanja Matic, Sergio Oliveira, and other names that we can count. Right now, AS Roma, thanks to Jose Mourinho, winning a Conference League, playing a Europa League final, is the fifth club in the ranking UEFA, as growth his identity, his international appeal during last year, and so probably it's more easy for Daniele De Rossi convince someone to play in AS Roma. But Daniele De Rossi has his history, has his identity, his story like an incredible player in AS Roma, an important player for the national team. So he has his appeal, and he's doing much possible to take more players possible in AS Roma. But I think that the most beautiful thing that we are seeing in this transfer market session is the completely open mind and completely partnership between coach and director sportive and property to follow with the same line, with the same objective, the same goals, to reach the players on the transfer market session, because Daniele De Rossi at the end of the last season talked openly, directly to the press to some problems that the roster presented, and he wanted to change not something but so much, like a little revolution. And because following the Atalanta and Bayer Leverkusen model, he wanted a team more athletic and more speed, more strength, more intensity. and I think that the players are coming Roma in this summer are following this guideline: young, strong, strength, intensity, speed. This is AS Roma, like Daniele De Rossi. I think imagined the team a few months ago.
Well, you mentioned that, but this Federico Chiesa rumor refuses to die. Is there actually? I mean, what's the status there? Is Roma actually close to signing him? What's happening?
Nima, if your agent speaks with me for several times, I can believe that you are not interested to speak with me. Okay, for example, if Ramadani meets 3 times Florin Ghisolfi to talk about possible transfer of Federico Chiesa, I can't believe it. Of the no intention from Federico Chiesa to join AS Roma. I think that the guy is in a difficult moment of his career because probably he thought that it will be or he has been more considered from Juventus, but it didn't happen. They decide to not renew his contract. Very similar to the situation of Paulo Dybala.
Mm-hmm.
And then I think that he was sure to find so many proposal in this session. Okay, and so Bayern Munich, Tottenham, Chelsea, someone from the Spain. He was sure to receive some proposal, no, in this transfer market session. From Bayern Munich, Tottenham, Premier League, some Spanish club, but it didn't happen. And so he took time to reflect, to think about his future. But I don't think, and I'm sure that he didn't refuse as Roma.
No.
Now is an interesting situation because we are today is the 6th August. Not so far from the final days of transfer market session, and he has to decide because I don't think it would be good for his career to stay at Juventus in this moment out of this project of Thiago Motta. He can wait until January to sign with Inter. But I don't know until January what's going on, or probably accept the proposal of AS Roma. Daniele De Rossi and Federico Chiesa remain a good relationships, and so probably in this moment AS Roma has to take calm, no? Let the days pass, observe, view the situation, monitoring, and then maybe on the half of the month, probably something is going to happen.
Interesting. Could it be one of those fine mercato, giorno del gong deals as well? Who knows?
Maybe before, because in the giorno di fine mercato, the final day, or you have the chance to take a particularly offer, no? Okay, like Lukaku on loan, but probably it's too late for players like Federico Chiesa. I think that 5-10 days and we know the future of the player.
That sounds very reasonable. So we can exclude Galeno of Porto, who's being linked to Roma and Juve, and Antonio Nusa of Club Brugge. We can exclude them from Roma.
I don't know. I don't want to exclude anything because I knowing the vibes of Calcio Mercato today, I can tell you, oh no, absolutely not. No, are you serious? And tomorrow the guys is having medicals, and so no. I worked yesterday on Nusa. These guys have a problem. He didn't pass the medicals 2 years ago with Brentford, and they are in the condition to pay 30 million euros to Bruges. But something happened, and I don't know the specific moment, the reason, but something happened during the medicals, and this is a little alarm.
Very alarming.
Galeno is a very good winger, but I think that there's another player has an expecting cost. And Federico Chiesa, right now, we see if you have the chance to convince the player, you can go to Juventus with a proposal about probably 15 millions, no more. And I think there is a reasonable amount to take for me, but is my opinion. Okay, for me, the best play Italian at the moment.
There's also Roma need a new right back, and there's been rumors of Almeria's Marc Pubil and Sergi Roberto. Do you know anything about
that? I don't have any confirmation about Sergi Roberto. So many Spanish players were linked to AS Roma, but on Sergio Roberto, I don't know what to say to you. Pubil is a very interesting player. He's very young, and do you know who is his agent? No,
who?
Ramadani. The same.
Yes. Okay.
The same of Boubakary Soumare. You know that mercato is a question also of the relationships, common interest, and so I probably help you with a player, you help me with another player, and so Boubakary to AS Roma. Do you need another player? The right back. Okay, I have Pubil. Okay, but I am more interested in Federico Chiesa. Okay, let's have a chat. Let's have a meeting. Talk each other, and to reach our goals. And so, Pubil, Federico Chiesa, we have to watch. We have to monitoring, because it could be a duo. Very interesting for AS Roma, because the relationship between Ramadan and Giuseppe is very good, and so something could be happen.
So Roma is essentially AS Ramadani and Inter is FC Pastorello. Speaking of other players at Roma, will Roma try to sign a central defender and another central midfielder? I know Soumare of Leicester is someone they've been looking at, has been linked to.
Yeah, as Roma, I have to decide to take a decision about the future of Chris Smalling, because probably Mancini and Dika are the two main defender of AS Roma. There is a situation of Chris Smalling, an expensive salary, no physical fit, a lot of injuries, and AS Roma is expecting an offer probably from Saudi Arabia to say goodbye to Chris Smalling, but at the moment nothing so concrete was registered, and Marash Kumbula probably not at the same level of AS Roma, and so obviously AS Roma is looking for another defender, and we have to check some profile. And about midfielder, I think that AS Roma has more characteristic. Paredes, Pellegrini, Lefebvre, Cristante, but you need someone in the middle of the field, some ball stealer, no? Someone who helps the team when he has not the ball, because as Roma is building a team with the ball very, very strong. I'm afraid that this team, when lose the ball and the possession, I'm afraid is going to suffer a lot. And so I think that as Roma is looking for a muscular player, intense, a ball stealer, able to take pressure to the possession of the opponent. And so I think that mercato of Roma is quite not over.
I agree. Speaking of, I mean, Roma have sold quite a few players in order to spend that much too. But one player that has been rumored to leave is Tammy Abraham. He's been linked with, well, pretty much half of Europe. The latest links are to AC Milan, and that Noah Okafor could be involved in a swap deal. Do you know what do you know? What's the state of play? Is Tammy Abraham? Are there talks with Milan over Tammy Abraham, and could Noah Okafor be involved in an exchange?
First of all, as Roma want to sell Tammy Abraham and want at least 30 million, because this is the correct amount to cover part of the spend on the Dovbyk. Okay. But no one in Italy, in England, arrived so far at the request of AS Roma. And so, swap deal with another club, it could be a good option for AS Roma, because AS Roma is looking for a second striker, because obviously Dovbyk is the number 9, is the main actor, but Daniele De Rossi want another striker, and maybe Okafor, it could be the right profile. And the same question and the same situation also for the winger. Saelemaekers last year made a very good season with the Bologna shirt, and I think is a good player, and easily play on the 4-3-3, on the 4-2-3-1, and so two profiles very, very comfortable and fitted to Daniele De Rossi idea. We have to see, and we have to check if the need of AS Roma to take quite 30 million from Abraham is going to accept this kind of swap deal and make sure that Daniele De Rossi will have two profile for his football idea without receive some millions to invest to another player. This is the question, and we have to check in the following days if it will be from the AS Roma the opening to this kind of swap deal.
Just a few quick other players as well that have been rumored out. Edoardo Bove, is he for sale, and is Fiorentina close to signing him? I've seen some links.
No close, but a lot of clubs are interested in Edoardo Bove. AS Roma doesn't want to sell him. He doesn't want to go out. But as you know, in the transfer market session, everything can happen. It's if someone offer more than 50 millions, I think that Bove can leave AS Roma, and AS Roma with this kind of amount can spend and invest in a profile like Soumare of Leicester or another one. I think that AS Roma in the middle of the field needs a player like Anguissa, maybe It's, 2 years ago, if I don't remember bad, choose Anissa from the Championship, the second division in England. And so also with the situation of Abraham, also with Edoardo Bove, we need to wait probably a few days to understand better if someone will going to offer more than 50 million to AS Roma.
Eldor Shomurodov, what's happening with him?
But nothing particularly. Eldor Shomurodov will leave AS Roma. Verona is one of the club interested in the Uzbekistan player. He's waiting like Artem Dovbyk in Rome to have the okay from his country to reach AS Roma in the English pre-season plays in England. But probably sure there is no space for him in this kind of project, and so we'll leave Roma.
And Ebrima Darboe, what's the situation with him?
But probably the same. He's training with other players right now in England, but I don't think he has the chance to remain in this roster. He will go probably on loan to take a chance to grow more, and then we'll see. Not so bad last year in Serie B with Sampdoria. I think he needs to play, to have the chance to play every Sunday. Remain in AS Roma for him, I don't think is what the best option for his career.
No. Do you know of any other Roma players that you think, like Shomurodov, Darboe, that have no space at Roma and will be sold?
Ola Solbakken, Rickarsdorp. I don't know if we can mention another player, but probably just 2-3. Shomurodov, Solbakken, and Karsdorp. They need to be sold, and probably more. Zalewski. I forgot Zalewski.
Oh, Zalewski too.
Okay. Is another name that probably will live AS Roma in the summer.
Okay. Well, I want to talk to you just quickly about the starting lineup and formation. You mentioned 4-3-3, 4-2-3-1. So I've got two questions there. The first one is about Lorenzo Pellegrini. I've always thought that he's not fast enough, he's not quick enough to play as a number 10 or as a inverted winger. And so they should probably test him to play as a regista or a double pivot. Are there any plans to do this?
No, because I think that his career is developing in his other part of the field. In the 4-3-3, he can play on the
left.
Yeah, like Mezzala, and 4-2-3-1, like he did in the national team. He can play in some situation, also with as a winger on the left. And so I think this is a offensive player. He's not a regista. He's not a containing of the possession of opponents. I don't think he will play. He will play like a captain, like an important player as Roma on the left, in the same part of the field of Lefebvre. And we'll see Daniele De Rossi how to manage this kind of profile and characteristics in this part of the field.
And finally, about Dybala, where's he going to play? False 9, winger, number 10, trequartista? Like, where's he going to play?
Dybala can play wherever he wants. Maybe also like a good keeper. For me, Dybala, he deserves to do what he wants, because he's a fantastic player. The level so high, probably with Lautaro and Rafa Leao, the best player of our Serie A. the good player, the player of this level, like Paulo Dybala, he needs to go on the field and looking for the best position for their talent. You can take and handle this kind of talent with too much tactic or too much need. You have to he has to play like his talent shows in the few season. Falso 9, winger, second striker. I don't know. The importance to have the ball on the field.
Yeah.
This is
and also to get Dybala and Pellegrini to work together, because they never could play together under Mourinho. But of course, they work better under De Rossi.
yeah.
What are Roma's objectives this season? Is it to finish in the top 4 in the Serie A and get to the Champions League? How will they view their participation in Europe?
I'm very curious to understand the level of desire of Daniele De Rossi to make another extraordinary campaign in Europe, because as Roma was at the final stage another time, some minutes to go to the final of Dublin, but Bayer Leverkusen then get the draw in the in Cologne, and so the dream disappeared. But probably the most beautiful AS Roma of De Rossi we saw in Europe, and so with this kind of particular tournament, we have to check how much is high this desire to De Rossi to make another important season in Europe. Obviously, as Roma has to as the objective to take place in the fourth row and in the four places of Serie A. And my personal desire is to see the AS Roma back on the semi-final of Coppa Italia, probably also in the final, as Roma has a very complicated relationship with the Coppa Italia in the last 10 years. It's time to take back the tradition to the story, because Coppa Italia has always been a cup very, very important for AS Romanist history, and I think that is the right time to go back to play with this right intensity and desire this kind of competition. So let's make the best possible in Coppa Italia, finish on the first 4 places in Serie A, and maintain the same level in Europe, because as Roma shows in the last 3 years that Europa League, but don't also Europa League. Europa is his house.
I mean, look, I think last season, for me, De Rossi, for me, the most impressive game of Roma tactically, for me, that really blew me away, was the way that De Rossi at the Olimpico completely dismantled Roberto De Zerbi, just ripped him apart tactically.
Yeah.
2 of those goals were clearly scammy. That was not just Dybala being a genius or someone being a genius. That was literally how he had instructed his players to rip apart De Zerbi. Now, De Zerbi obviously has defensive deficiencies, but it was really, really, truly remarkable to see. And I think De Rossi is building a fantastic career. I think he's going to be one of the top Italian coaches moving forward. And it's beautiful, like you said, that he is at Roma now. Because obviously he is, he embodies Roma. I mean, after Totti, in my lifetime, it's De Rossi that embodies Roma. So it's going to be an interesting season for sure.
Yeah.
I want to thank you so much for coming on, Andrea. It's always a pleasure to have you on. If people want to follow you on social media and if they want to listen to you and read your stuff, where do they go?
Probably on Twitter, because I use Instagram for personal content, and so on Twitter Andrea_Di Carlo. They have the chance to read some news updates of AS Roma, and probably the chance to get the link correct to hear me in Radio Romanista during the match and also during the week.
Well, thank you so much again, Andrea. We really appreciate it. We will be tagging you in all your socials on this post when we push it out. Everyone else, we will be back tomorrow or on Thursday for our big Serie A preview, audio and video, which will be available on YouTube. But until next time, take care of yourselves and each other. Ciao, ciao.